Hello and welcome to another motorcycling video. I'm still out on the Spyder. In this clip I pass through the small township of Bungendore and then ride on south to Queanbeyan, a city of about 40,000 people. For this video I am using Clipchamp video editor and I'm also using the text-to-speech feature. This means I have had to write a script and then it is recorded using Australian English and Neil, masculine voice. I have figured out how to add a title to my video as well, so I am slowly learning new features of the software, or do we call all things like that apps these days? Viewers won't see much of Bungendore as the road I'm on doesn't go through the centre of town. This clip will run out just before I arrive in Queanbeyan, so you'll need to stay tuned for the next installment if you want to see parts of that city. I am trying to find topics to talk about that are related to motorcycling, and I hope I have done that this time. I often invite viewers to think about the state of the roads I'm riding on, and as I commented in the last few clips, the smaller country roads at the moment are in some places in pretty poor condition. All governments in Australia have signed up for a Towards Zero road toll program, and road safety is often talked about. I talk about the roads for two reasons. The first reason is to do with revenue. In Australia at the moment the price of 95 RON fuel is over $2 a litre. I don't know the currency conversion and I don't know the litres to gallons conversion, but suffice to say the price of petrol is, by Australian standards, pretty high at the moment. Almost 50%, I think the actual figure is 45%, so if the price of a litre of petrol goes to the government, either the Commonwealth or the state government, and we're told that all the revenue raised is spent on roads. That may or may not be true, as a set of figures can be interpreted differently depending on who is presenting the figures, a government that wants to prove its bona fides or a motoring organisation that says the funding for roads is not enough. Suffice to say that a lot of revenue is raised through fuel tax, and most of it is borne by people who own passenger vehicles, since there are more passenger vehicles than there is any other category of motor vehicles. Further, it is true that as EVs and other types of non-petrol or diesel vehicles come onto the market, the revenue from fuel tax will decline, but governments are already thinking of creative ways such as distance travelled in a year tax on EVs as a way of compensating for the lost fuel tax revenue. Since I am retired, I only drive for shopping or recreational reasons rather than doing a daily commute, so I can simply drive less and use less fuel as a way of avoiding high petrol prices. Others who work cannot do so, and given our preference for large SUVs and utes, the fill-up cost must be large and a strain on the household budget. The second reason I talk about the state of the roads is because they are part of a suite of measures that all add up to road safety. The four features of road safety are the physical conditions, the weather for example, the road conditions, the vehicle conditions and the driver. The physical features such as the weather cannot be controlled. We cannot control the pouring rain that makes cars aquaplane. We cannot control the sun causing a glare in the morning as it rises or in the evening as it sets. We cannot control the fog or the snow or the ice on the road, but all of these things are factors in road safety. The state of any road is a factor in road safety. A well-designed, well-built road with proper lighting is obviously much safer than one that is poorly designed, not maintained properly and not well lit or not lit at all. I accept that a road that takes tens of thousands of cars each day should receive more funding than one that might only take a handful of cars each day. In Australia we've adopted the A, B and C class or road system, as well as the national highways and at least in NSW freeways, motorways and toll roads. All roads should be built to a minimum standard, which doesn't mean they all have to be lit up like a football stadium, but roads with broken or non-existent shoulders, with no edge markings and no center markings, are not conducive to safe driving. Of course, topography plays a part in the design and building of the road, but even allowing for that, some things are or ought to be fundamental to roads. In the previous video I talked about the need to maintain our vehicles in a roadworthy state. It stands to reason that a vehicle that is roadworthy is safer than one that isn't. No matter the rules in the state you live in, your vehicle is your responsibility, and the obligation is on each of us to make sure our vehicle is roadworthy. The manufacturers give us a checklist of things we ought to do each time we get in our car or on our bike. I suspect the majority of people don't do them. Rather, like me, they get in or on the machine, turn the key and go. As I mentioned in the last video, regular service of our vehicles, as required by the manufacturer, is a good way to end equals sure the vehicle is roadworthy. The final piece in the road safety puzzle is the driver or rider. The human factor is the most difficult. A good road, a well-maintained vehicle, a clear sunny day with great weather is all important, but the nut behind the wheel is the one thing that is unpredictable. No one can know when a person is going to start driving erratically or overtake when it isn't safe to do so, or suddenly decide to display road rage over an imagined slight. Driver training, graduated licenses, some high-performance vehicles being banned for young inexperienced riders or drivers are all factors that can help, but the final responsibility still rests with the person behind the wheel or handlebars. Thank you again for listening. I hope I have provided you with some food for thought without telling anyone what to think. I'll talk to you again in the next video, which will be the last in this series.